You don't have a motivation problem. You have a broken word. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," and you don't, something inside you cracks. Not loudly, not all at once, quietly, piece by piece. You lose trust in yourself. And once that trust is gone, everything becomes harder. Waking up, staying consistent, believing in your own potential. Because deep down, you know the truth. You don't do what you say you're going to do. Let that sink in. You're not losing to other people. You're losing to your own promises. Picture a man standing in front of a mirror. He looks himself in the eyes and says, "Tomorrow, I change." He means it. You can feel it. There's fire in his chest. Conviction. But tomorrow comes. The alarm rings. And he hits snooze. Just once. Then twice. Then 10 times. And just like that, the promise is broken. Again. Now multiply that by days. Weeks. Months. Years. That's how a man destroys his own identity. Not with one big failure, but with small betrayals. Over and over again. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you train your mind to believe that your words don't matter, that your commitments are optional, that discipline is negotiable. And once that belief sets in, you become weak. Not physically, mentally. Because strength is built on integrity. And integrity starts with one thing: keeping your word. Especially when nobody is watching. Think about a soldier. In the middle of a storm. Cold. Tired. Exhausted. He doesn't say, "I'll show up when I feel like it." He shows up because he gave his word. Because lives depend on it. Because his identity depends on it. That's the level of commitment you need. Not motivation. Not hype. Commitment. Because motivation fades. Feelings change. But your word? That's supposed to be unbreakable. Right now, your word means nothing. And you know it. You say you'll work out. You don't. You say you'll focus. You get distracted. You say you'll change. You stay the same. And every time it happens, you chip away at your confidence. Until one day, you stop believing in yourself completely. That's the real danger. Not failure. Self-betrayal. Because once you lose trust in yourself, you hesitate. You doubt. You second-guess every decision. Not because you're incapable, but because you've proven to yourself that you can't be trusted. But here's the truth most people avoid. You built this, and that means you can rebuild it. One promise at a time. Small. Simple. Non-negotiable. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You need to start keeping your word. Even in the smallest things. You say you'll wake up at 6. Wake up at 6. No excuses. No negotiation. You say you'll train. You train. Even if it's ugly. Even if it's uncomfortable. You say you'll focus for 1 hour. You do it. No distractions. Because every time you follow through, you rebuild trust. And trust builds confidence. Not fake confidence. Real confidence. The kind that comes from knowing, I do what I say. That's power. Imagine a man who knows, without a doubt, that he will follow through on anything he commits to. No hesitation. No excuses. Just action. That man is unstoppable. Not because he's special, but because he's consistent. Because he honors his word. Now imagine the opposite. A man who makes promises and breaks them daily. He can't rely on himself. So how can anyone else? That's where you are right now. somewhere in between. And the direction you choose decides everything. This isn't about perfection. You will fail. You will slip. But the difference is, you don't make breaking promises a habit. You correct it immediately. You get back on track. You don't let one mistake turn into a pattern. Because patterns build identity. And identity shapes your life. Think about fire again. If you keep feeding it, it grows. If you neglect it, it dies. Your discipline works the same way. Your word works the same way. You either strengthen it, or you weaken it. Every single day. There is no neutral. So stop making big promises you can't keep. That's ego. Start small. Start real. Start with things you know you can execute. And then build. Layer by layer. Until your word becomes law. Until when you say something, it happens. No matter what. That's when everything changes. Because now, you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you move differently. You think differently. You act with certainty. No more hesitation. No more doubt. Because you've proven to yourself that you are reliable. That you are disciplined. That you are in control. And control is everything. Not control over the world, but control over you. Your actions. Your habits. Your decisions. That's where power comes from. Not motivation. Not inspiration. But self-trust. So the next time you make a promise, pause. Think. Ask yourself, am I actually going to do this? And if the answer is no, don't say it. Because every empty promise is another crack in your foundation. And eventually, that foundation collapses. But if you start honoring your word, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, you rebuild yourself. Stronger, sharper, unshakable. A man who keeps his word to himself cannot be broken because he doesn't depend on emotion. He depends on discipline. He doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates it through action, through consistency, through commitment. That's the man you need to become. So no more empty promises. No more I'll start tomorrow. No more lying to yourself. You start now. You act now. You follow through now. Because every promise you keep is a brick, and you're building something. Your identity. Your future. Your life. So build it strong. If this message lit a fire in you, then it's time to act. Drop this in the comments right now. I keep my word no matter what, so that I know you stayed all the way till the end, and you will become a man who trusts himself completely.